Joining us, host of the Sports and Culture podcast, the Pablo Torre Finds Out. And MS Now contributor Pablo Torre, sorry about that, Pablo, staff writer for The Atlantic and author of How Soccer Explains the World, Franklin Foer, and founder and host of Men in Blazers and author of We Are the World Cup, Roger Bennett. All right, gentlemen, I frankly could not think of three better people to talk to about this today, so thank you all for saying yes. Pablo, I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that we're not just talking about the men's team today.
Look, this is the consequence of a story that is so wildly, nationally, globally popular as the U.S. men's national team becoming something that Donald Trump didn't have his fingers on. I mean, it is stunning, Katie, that Flo Balogun, the protagonist of the story ostensibly, was born on July 3rd, 2001. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, because his mom tried to board a plane back to their home in England, and because she was 7 months visibly pregnant, she was not allowed to board, and therefore Flo Balogun was born in America, meaning he is a birthright citizen. And so this same player whose photos you're seeing on this screen becoming the best player on this team at the heart of this miraculous phenomenon that the U.S. men's national team has created while the U.S. is hosting, one of the hosts of this World Cup, is so perfect because this is the same sort of person that Donald Trump's administration has fought to not be a citizen anymore. And so the idea that he is even turning this sort of a character amid all the governance, corruption, scandal stuff that you're describing, the fact that this character is now also apparently someone that Donald Trump is using for his own benefit is kind of mind-blowing on a couple of different levels.
It's richly layered. I think you can put it that way. Let's get into the fundamentals here. Roger, FIFA, what's going on? I thought FIFA had a set of rules. You can't appeal it. The American team couldn't appeal this decision. Why can the president of the United States make a call and get the president of FIFA to look into it?
There's a lot about this story that does not make sense. It does feel like something from WWE where home cooking is the best cooking. There's a lot that's confusing because Balogun got a red card. With that comes a one-game ban, and there is no appeal. But in the FIFA bylaws, there's a section 27, Article 27, that allows FIFA to suspend any suspension. And when they did that, which is unprecedented, only once before 1962 have they just stepped in, and the Brazilian government in that moment were the ones putting the pressure on so that one of their stars could play in the final. There's no explanation given in the moment. So the honest truth is, Katie, we don't know the answer to your question. And the agonizing thing from a football perspective, this team is good. This United States team, we've longed for a men's team who can compete. This team plays swaggy football, joyous football. This team has united the nation at a time when we really need to be united. It's been delirious scenes across the coast when they win, and they've won often. The agony for this is that we didn't need this. We didn't have to have this happen to face Belgium tonight and deliver victory. This team could have done it on their own. And if they do win now, part of it is not like this. We didn't need to win like this. We could have done without this. And if they do, there's going to be an asterisk almost in the eyes of the world on every game we play from here on now. That's the agony.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for the U.S. men's team. It sucks for American fans because you don't want to win and feel like you had to cheat to get there. There's a lot of controversy about the red card itself, and Franklin, a lot of discussion over whether it was deserved, and I think most people fall on the it was not deserved line of things. But even with that, how many people want the president of the United States to intervene and to put that asterisk on it, as Roger was describing?
Well, I think this is something that's very familiar to Americans. We know that Trump has undermined the rule of law in this country, and he's essentially doing the same thing in this tournament. There's a set of procedures here, and those procedures have been followed. And whether we like the outcome of a court decision or a red card, when those procedures are followed, by the dint of being citizens of a country or being participants in a tournament, we have to accept that decision. And one of the great things about this tournament, one of the marvelous, miraculous things, is that you have small countries like Cape Verde that can go toe-to-toe with a bigger, much more powerful country like Argentina. And that's one of the joys of soccer, is that it is an equalizing experience. The World Cup puts everybody on the same plane. But what this decision shows is the way that the powerful countries can accrue advantages by manipulating a corrupt system to their advantage. This is really just kind of a microcosm for the Trump presidency in general.
What's the deal with FIFA, Roger? I mean, they've been renting empty office space out of Trump Tower for a little while now. They presented Donald Trump with the first of its kind FIFA Peace Prize back in December. Everyone talks about how corrupt FIFA is, but I'm going to imagine a lot of my viewers are not super knowledgeable or experts in FIFA. What's the deal with this organization?
I mean, to understand the core of football, to understand the core of the World Cup, to understand why politicians are so fascinated by what we're watching, probably the most joyous World Cup in terms of the outcomes of world football falling in love with America and America falling in love with world football. That's been what has been the kind of theme through the first couple of weeks. But 200 million people watch the Super Bowl. It's giant by American perspective. 5 billion people watch the World Cup. It is a global eclipse that sweeps the entire planet for 39 straight days. And because of that, it's the ultimate orb of power. It's the ultimate catnip for any politician. It's the last global megaphone that when you grasp it, you can speak to everybody. So it's the collusion, ultimately, FIFA, the World Cup, the politicians that are fascinated by it. It's the collusion of football, the commercial might, the commercial heft, which is unparalleled, and then that ability to speak to the nation through it. That's what draws it, and that's what makes FIFA what it is. It has ultimate power, almost is transnational power, and it kind of shapes it to its own will, and we're living it. They're here fleetingly. Next World Cup will be across the planet. The one after that will be in Saudi Arabia, and FIFA goes to places where they can completely control their operation. The last two, one was in Qatar, the one before that was in Putin's Russia. So ultimately, I mean, it is in the thrall of the nation who allow it to come and occupy its space. And right now, that's us. And Donald Trump signaling today, and he's now starting to watch the games. I've got a feeling it's going to ratchet up as we move towards a final that he's already announced he's going to be at and will award the trophy.
Yeah, I mean, Pablo, Donald Trump has inserted himself in everything. He went to the Knicks game and caused, a drama here with all the traffic and all the security problems that fans had to get through in order to get to the game, and the outdoor fan celebrations were limited because of that. I mean, he got into it with U.S. men's hockey. He inserted himself into the death of Rob Reiner. Every cultural moment that grabs the attention of Americans and proves to be bigger than him, even in a fleeting moment, he forces his way into. And it's just such a depressing consideration, considering, as we've been talking about, we don't have a lot that unifies us right now. And even on the things that could be unifying moments that transcend this division, the politics of the moment, Donald Trump can't just let it be.
Yeah, he wears sports as a skin suit. And there's a difference between being around and being very visible when it comes to sports and sports broadcasts and luxury boxes. There's a difference between that and also knowing and appreciating and, frankly, loving what the potential of sports can be at its best. And so when you turn sports into everything else, which is the through line in this conversation, I mean, there are only so many places left. There may not be any more, actually, now that this story has happened, where America is plausibly an underdog. We have been in soccer, in world football. And now we're not, because the same thing of using our power and our resources and the transactionality of this administration has resulted in what we see all the time, which is David is just Goliath now. And so why do you use sports? You know, there's one wrinkle here, Katie, I think it's important to point out, because for a lot of people that I'm hearing from, sports fans, Of course, they see the red card as farcical when it was assigned to Balogun. Of course, as a side note, Donald Trump in his comments today at the White House didn't even know what a red card was he was describing, right? He just didn't know, which is one of those very revealing things you really can't script, but he said it, he admitted it. And now, of course, you're in this scenario where the thing that is supposed to be governed by the rules of law in ways that, frankly, our government isn't, even that is acting the same way. And that's the shame of it, is that it was something where America could feel like it was really almost pure amid a sea of corruption, which is what FIFA is. And now it feels like it's like everything else. And fans, by the way, fans want the U.S. to win. Americans want the U.S. to win. That's why he does it. Because this is, I think, quite popular to get Balogun back on the field. And I think if we forget that that's the power of sports, we'll give you the thing that your heart desires, but at a cost that you don't really know you're paying until years later when you realize, why don't we trust in anything that we believe in when it comes to our institutions anymore? You realize maybe the price was too high in the first place.